I'm Ashley Peterson, a freelance videographer living in Snohomish, Washington. I started getting involved with film projects when I was in high school and always had a deep interest in travel and missions work. In 2009, when I was 17 years old, I had the opportunity to travel to Kenya with a group from my church. I instantly fell in love with the people and culture of Kenya and hoped and prayed I could return one day. I pursued film in college as my major and have worked primarily in the wedding industry over the last several years. But in the fall of 2018, some good friends of mine, Greg and Jean Ishmael, approached me about an opportunity to travel back to Kenya with them. I jumped at the opportunity to return to Africa and was eager to hear what they had in mind. I would accompany a training team leaving in the spring of 2019, traveling with Greg to Siaya, Kenya, to help facilitate his first orphan care best practices training. This isn't a topic that I knew very much about when Greg and Jean started explaining it to me, but it was something that they were wildly passionate about. Many countries in the majority world, like Kenya, have relied on an institutional style of care for orphans. They grow up in dormitory-style housing and are provided essentials like food, water, healthcare, clothing, and schooling. Many of us here in the US are familiar with this model of orphan care. Many of us have probably donated to an orphanage in the past or even visited children in institutional care while in foreign countries. Most of these establishments were created with the best of intentions at heart and have spent years trying to provide a good home for kids. But there's something lacking from this form of childcare, and it's not addressing the child's need for family. Over the last decade, there's been a great deal of discovery and some hard lessons are being learned. Many children who have been given every opportunity for success while in an orphanage age out of the system and find that they're struggling. They lack social development that comes from growing up within a family, and many of them have no social ties to the community that they were meant to be a part of because they grew up separated and within the walls of an orphanage. Also, many of them have no example on how to raise their own children, and a vicious cycle is created. Many of these children actually have a surviving parent or close relative who would have loved to have raised them, but instead was forced to drop them off at an orphan home due to insufficient funds to either feed them or send them to school. The training that Greg and his team provided the 25 pastors and community leaders was vital to help spread the word about keeping children in families. It was such a great opportunity to learn alongside them and capture that first of many trainings as Greg and Jean continue to take this education all over the globe. As I returned home, I really wanted to find another way to continue to contribute to spread this information. In February of 2020, we're headed back to Kenya with another group led by Greg and Jean. The goal this time is to reconnect with some of the attendees from the 2019 training and see how they've been able to impact their communities. We're also hoping to connect with young adults in the area who have aged out of the orphan care system and see if they'll be willing to share their stories with us. Our goal is to share information from seasoned experts, as well as stories from young adults who've experienced the highs and lows of growing up within institutional care. Through this, we're hoping to promote the switch to family-based care worldwide. If you'd like to donate, learn more about our trip, or follow along on our journey, please check out our website, www.documentaryadventure.com.